like Benson, I'm a Who Dat.
I'm a Who Dat.
Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat.
I'm a Who Dat.
Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, shout out to the man Who Dat Nation. Welcome. Now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk for your favorite sports fam. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in this one, man. Listen, man. The Saints are in Cali. They arrived yesterday. They're doing their thing. Out training, and a couple of days away from the very first preseason game. A lot of people excited, just like prior to all of this other losing stuff happened with the black and gold, man. That it's almost time for football in this thing. So shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all for being alive. Much love to the fan. Big ups to everybody. Do your boss service. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. By all means. Feel free to share the show on the social media feed. The comment here. Shout out to Young City 9. Old Chief Jerry's in this thing as well. Shout out to you. What's up, Colorado? Big ups to you, brother Greg's in this thing as well. Brother Byron is in this thing. Shout out to you, fam. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Gundam. Shout out to my brother Gundam. Be up in this thing as well. Big ups to you guys. Appreciate you. Black Major. I see you, fam. Much love. All right, family saying they have difficulties hearing. All right, hold on, fam. Let me see if we can get this straight. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can get it straight. All right, that sounds a little bit better. All right, shout out to the fam, man. Much love. All right, okay, I see. Y'all hit it? All right, Big Valley, what's up, fam? All right, y'all let me know if y'all can hear me in this thing. What's up, 985J? Shout out to you, brother. All right, anybody can hear? Put one in the chat if you can hear me now, man. We had trying out this new feature here. All right. How's that sound? All right, thank you, Big Valley. Shout out to you, man. All right, let me start this thing because y'all just missed some Supreme game. I was just, you might as well just end it after that, bro, because I just dropped some Supreme game, brother, and I don't think I can bring it back. All right, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fan, man. Saints in Cali. Big ups to you guys. What's up, Pete? How you doing, brother? All right, appreciate you, man, for being in the live. All right, big ups to all the fams. I was basically shouting out everybody, man, before we started. Byron, Brother Gundam, Black Major, OG Jerry, everybody, man. Much love. Young City 9, good to see y'all, man. Greg Raging Cajun, big ups to you as well. Good to see all y'all in the stream, man. All right, so anyway, man, as we get going in this thing, man, listen, we just got a few things to talk about here. Y'all hit the like as you're coming in. We trying a different feature here, but, things change from time to time. We get new technology. We like to kind of change it up. But Saints in Cali, man, that's the big thing that's going on is the Saints are practicing. They're not scrimmaging with anybody. They're practicing. getting ready for the Sunday afternoon matchup, the first preseason game of 2025-2026 season. As the Saints get it going, Kellen Moore basically talked about during training camp trying to get his system installed. He has already said that the system is installed, and now the Saints are about the business of executing to figure out, what needs to be done. And you see what I'm saying? In terms of kind of perfecting Kellen Moore's system. So we know that's going to be interesting to see it all and how it plays. So, man, listen, this is a great time. This is going to be a great time here. Very excited about seeing football. What's up, brother Anthony? Shout out to Anthony Scott. What's up, bro? All right. So anyway, let's kind of get right into some of the takes, man, from what happened yesterday in terms of the camp keys or takeaways, so to speak, dealing with the black and gold as they arrived yesterday. Of course, they'll be practicing today. We'll have another stream later on today and a preview stream for the Saints and Chargers matchup Saturday as we get ready for the Sunday game. So a lot of active stuff going on for the black and gold family members. All right, so both practice fields were there. The temperature was about 78 degrees, and the Saints said they were going to be there for the next 7 or 8 days. I want to say that they're going to be in California. It's a switch up and a change up of the grueling heat that's been going on down here. Then the Saints ultimately going to come back back down here and finish out the training camp. But it's California weather, 78 degrees with a wind of 10 to 15 miles per hour. We heard about the issues with Hayball. He didn't make the trip because he was released, and his spot was filled by Hunter Deckers, the fourth-string quarterback. The team did bring in Mason Pline, who is a second-year player, undrafted player who has some athletic ability. Yet to see what's going on with him. They'll figure that out. They did mention that Rico Payton missed Thursday's practice with an illness, that Juwan Johnson and cornerback Rico Payton missed Thursday practice. They fully practiced. JT Graham, Juwan Johnson, originally scheduled for 40 minutes, but 20 minutes, they kind of ended a little early. And it's just more of the same. Blake Grupe nailing the hell out the kicks. He's far ahead of the kicker battle with Charlie Smith, and he's just taking it away. The energy was high in terms of that, at them having a change of scenery, being in a cool environment. Guys were flying around, making plays. And it was just cool, to see it, because a lot of players enjoy being out there. Chris Olave had the interview. He talked about it. And some other players, Cam Jordan also is one of those guys that, that likes to be out there. A lot of guys like to go to Cali and kind of enjoy the good weather. So anyway, some of the plays of the day that happened, quarterback Spencer Rattler was able to do some things. He tossed a throwback to the right to Juwan Johnson down for a 20-yard from the 20-yard line, and he took full stride, got stopped at the 1-yard line on the next play. Rattler executed a zone read that basically got Cam Akers to scamper in with an easy touchdown. It showed that Jake Hayner also had some good play as well, and he did similar plays as he operated the ball at the 8-yard line from the opposite side, the east end zone. He took the snap and got pressure from the blitzing linebacker, Jalen Ford. From the left side, Hayner eluded the rush and still backpedaled and threw off his back foot, where he found Dante Pettis, who made the grab in the end zone. So you can see kind of got something going, a little improvisation, and he was able to do it. And, of course, he was knocked out of bounds. Jonas Sanker, you kind of put the pop down on him. And, of course, the teams was moving from the west end zone. Tyler Shough, the quarterback, had the ball at the 7-yard line. He handed the ball off to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who proceeded to try to find a hole to the right side. And he had about 2 yards into a rush and got stopped on a dime. He avoided the contact, cut back to the left, and then got into the end zone. So we've seen a lot of really good stuff happening, in terms of guys handling the business. So it's pretty cool, man. Everybody's lighthearted doing this thing. Now, of course, we talk about Tyler Shough. Now, he took most of the starter reps during the first practice in California. Now, prior to that, a lot of that was kind of filtering into Spencer Rattler. But if you had to pick a starting quarterback right now to open up the matchup against the Chargers, you got to say it's going to be Spencer Rattler. Now, of course, they can then rotate guys. You don't have the 4 preseason games. We got 3 of them to kind of get it. So you got to kind of hit it and you got to figure it out and have a keen eye of who the guys that you like and what they can do for your team. So the first practice of the West Coast swing, about 90 minutes to compete. Tyler Shough he had a lion's share of the first team reps with the team on 2 separate fields. And that's what Kellen Moore has been using to steal some additional practice snaps in a lot of time. So 2 sides of the field, letting those guys run is a good way to get them reps. While Shough Day wasn't especially notable from his stat line, the rookie continued to show progress while operating the same number one there. So, but against the number one defense he played, and it's not easy. The Saints defense actually been doing pretty good in practice, man, and in training camp. And many days the defense has beaten the offense. You know, they're fast to the ball, they're making plays, they're pass breaking ups, but the offense is catching up and they are sneaking them with good plays. That's kind of kind of bounce into this article right here from NOLA.com. Shout out to them when they kind of break down things and they talk about what, you know, from a perspective of what they see. Now, this is statistically overall the camp numbers that we're seeing overall during the camp. Shough was 8 of 15 yesterday. Rattler was 8 of 11. Haener was 4 of 5. Now, overall for camp, Shough is 72 of 120. Rattler is 80 of 118. And Haener is 68 of 97. So New Orleans leaned into some Shough better traits in Thursday's practice. He had a couple opportunities to use athleticism either via play action, bootleg, or a read option. He also drilled several outbreaking throws toward the sideline. His best pass of the day came during the second period when he hit veteran Brandon Cooks in stride with a laser strike to the far pylon for a touchdown. He also started to show a little more aggressiveness as a thrower, which contributed to his lower completion percentage in Thursday's session. He gave Chris Olave 2 good chances at making contested catches in the end zone during the red zone period, though both were ultimately knocked away by guess who? Kool-Aid McKinstry and Alante Taylor in tight coverage. Both of these guys, Kool-Aid McKinstry especially, has been having a solid camp. Alante's been having a really solid camp as well. So those guys have been stepping up and making plays. He also admits that it's worth noting, pointing out that Tyler Shough hasn't quite found his connection with Chris Olave, the Saints' number 1 receiver. Shough threw to Olave's way 4 times yesterday, and all of them were incompletions, including 1 deep ball that he overthrew. 5 of Shough's 8 completions went to either tight ends or running backs. So that's of note. Rattler, meanwhile, had an efficient day. He continued to show a willingness to and ability to use legs to his advantage, use his legs, move around, though it's hard to truly discern how effective he is while wearing a red non-contact jersey. It's also worth pointing out that Chris Olave's lone catch in Thursday's practice was a red zone touchdown to Rattler. Now, given the opportunity to run the first team offense when the team split fields, Rattler threw 3 touchdowns to Kendre Miller on a rollout to his right, and he also hit Olave for a score on a slant from the left side. So that's big, seeing Kendre Miller get busy, right? The only real drawback to the performance in Thursday's practice, as he admits this is kind of nitpicky, was a tight window throw that he tried to squeeze to Clyde Edwards-Helaire near the goal line. The ball was tipped and nearly caught by Mason Pline, but several defenders was in the area. Haener has seen workload dip significantly in recent practices, and he did not get any opportunities after the Saints split practice into 2 fields. This will happen. Now, Thursday's latter practice with a scrimmage Friday evening at the campus of UC Irvine. So the Road Runners, I think they are. So they trend to ramp up heavy competitive periods going forward. So as you hear Jake Haener, not so much shaking on the Jake Haener front, right? That Jake Haener's snaps are reducing. That's just for this. But as you build to a crescendo, you're getting close to the matchup where you get the preseason game where you want to see these guys handle their business. That's very interesting. They're trying to see who's the guy. But right now, Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shough, Jake Haener. So that's where it is. Now, things could change based on each one's live game action. Like the practices are one thing, but you get to really pick apart what it looks like when you are actually in these preseason games. How many reps would they run? How many opportunities would Spencer Rattler get to operate it? Does he get a 2 periods, first and the second quarters to run it? How did the Saints break it up? That'll be determined by them before the game, and we'll see it during the game how it looks. So we're gonna be all laser focusing at the quarterback position, man, to see exactly what's going on. But it's gonna be fun watching this upcoming preseason, man. Pretty cool. All right, let's keep it moving and talk about one of the greats, baby, who made mention of it, Drew Brees. Shout out to Saints on Sports Illustrated, Kyle T. Drew Brees addresses the Saints QB battle and sees himself in one. So, that's Drew, always dropping a little knowledge right there. They said that Rattler, Haener, and Shough have all been duking it out in camp throughout the summer, and Rattler and Shough have gotten most of the headlines. Rattler seemingly was most likely the option heading into the camp for the starting job, and Shough is excited about the second-year rookie as well. Now, Haener, the longest tenured Saints of the three, have been selected in the 4th round. So you have a 5th rounder, a 2nd rounder, and a 3rd round quarterback trying to get it, a 4th round rather, trying to figure it out. So it's a 2, a 4, and a 5. Very interesting, right? Saints are fortunate to have 3 facing off for the job because 3 have impressed in different ways at the moment. Saints hadn't added a veteran in the mix. The Saints have 3 young guys who have made it clear who they like. So the Saints legend thinks one of the 3 New Orleans QBs reminds him of himself. Who the hell is Drew Brees referencing to? Well, let's get into it. Although Shough and Rattler have gotten most of the headlines, Saints legend Drew Brees actually said that Haener reminds him the most of himself. Could you believe that? He says, quote, it's a pretty unique situation if you just look at the youth across the board. Brees said, as it's transcribed by NOLA's Jeff Duncan, it's obvious there was a lot of excitement in drafting Tyler Shough, and I felt like Spencer Rattler did some great things last year, and Jake Haener, his playing style, his stature, everything reminds me a lot of myself. So we'll see how far the competition shakes out. It seems like it's been a pretty eventful camp thus far. He also says, I'm sure the Saints would take a much different approach than most teams do when it comes to starters, mainly the QBs. Some teams barely play their QB starters, trying to keep them healthy for the regular season. But with these guys, every rep is so valuable, both in practice and scrimmage. All those reps are so valuable just to feel like you're getting live or like game-like reps. I call them live reps. The Saints quarterback competition isn't over. In fact, the preseason kicking off, we should see it get taken to another level over the next few weeks. And as of writing, none of the 3 have been ruled out of the starting job yet. It will all come down to preseason, and it's interesting to see, to hear at the very least that Brees himself, sees Haener because the guy is not getting a lot of buzz. So that's kind of pick apart that. Now I'm gonna ask you guys in the chat, let's kind of investigate that for a second, right? Let's investigate that, right? What do you got? Let me ask the Great Saint Think Tank this. What do you guys think about that, right? Right? What do you guys think about that? Do you guys believe, Drew Brees picking Jake Haener as the guy? What attributes that you guys currently recognize from Jake Haener that are similar to Drew Brees? Put them in the chat. Put them in the chat. What's up, T Mama? Shout out to my girl T Mama. Big ups. KT said Drew done bumped his head. Now, come on, let's do this. We the Great Saint Think Tank. We supposed to be figuring this. What's up, Ro? Shout out to Ro. Brandon, what's up, Brandon? Brian, shout out to you as well. What's up, Desi, baby? Shout out to Desi. What's up, Officer 5000? How you doing, sir? Big ups to you. Good to see you, my man. Appreciate you. Y'all, let's talk about it, fam. Put it in the chat. Let me know what you guys are talking about. Big Valley says just his processing. He says processing is not close to Brees. Brian said, "What's up, Brian?" Brian says his height. Okay, all right. Height is about it, Q. That's what Gundam is saying. Really? So, what's up, Kathleen? Shout out to the Queen. Now, what? Now, seriously. Now, Jake Hayner's what, 6 feet tall or 6 feet tall? We know Drew barely 6 feet with shoes on. He's 6 feet with shoes on. You take his shoes off, they say you're a little shorter than that. But they don't play barefooted, right? All right, so this is the thing. I don't see now listen, I don't see it from a professional standpoint, right? I don't see what Drew sees professionally. Maybe he's talking about college because obviously Jake Haener hadn't done enough in the pro game in the 3 years he's been here to warrant a decent comparison. I'm going to think that what Drew was referencing was college stuff, right? Because Haener had a respectable college career, right? It ultimately got him drafted, in the 4th round for the Saints 3 years ago? He got drafted. A lot of these guys, if he wasn't that good, he wouldn't have got drafted. But then again, some slipped through the cracks. But Jake Haener doesn't have a strong arm. He doesn't have the athleticism, and that's what Drew could be hinting on. The fact that he wasn't, even though he wasn't super fast, but Drew played tennis, Drew played baseball, I want to say. He played football. Drew was an athlete. He was a shorter, smaller guy, but Drew was an athlete. He did a lot of things very well. He a hell of a businessman, too. Drew got all kind of stuff going on. This whole pickleball thing, Drew's money's behind that. All these franchises that you never heard of, Jimmy Johns and walk-ins, walk-ons, whatever you want to call them, all this other stuff. Then he got some new entertainment center that's, what you call it? I forgot the name of it, but they just opened it in Metairie. That's like a laser tag, and you can go there with birthdays and all this kind of stuff. So he hell of a business, man. But I don't think it's professional when he talk about the Jake Haener comparison. Jake Haener, doesn't have a big arm like Drew. Drew didn't have a big arm, but Drew was able to make plays throwing the ball down the field when he needed to. Early on when he was younger, he was younger with the Saints. He would make those 35, 40-yard throws. Drew Brees would put some steam into it, right? And then he had a personal trainer that he would work on to strengthen his arm, right? He would do that like during the offseason. He knew he had to work on. So he had the guy, and y'all put one in the chat if y'all remember Drew Brees doing those underwater, he would get in the pool and he would work on, his strength in his pool, his throwing arm in the pool. He had his trainer, a really good trainer that he would work on to get his arm strength going. He would work on that right arm. But he wasn't known as a guy that throws darts, one of these type of guys that take, that bust you, that make you tear your fingers up when you catch a ball. That's what Robert Brooks, the fantastic speedster who used to play for the Green Bay Packers, that's what he used to say about Brett Favre and Antonio Freeman. Boy, that was a name that you guys remember. Antonio Freeman, the fantastic wide receiver that used to play with Green Bay. You had Robert Brooks. Those guys used to catch passes from Brett Favre. I remember Robert Brooks put his hands up, and he was talking about how catching passes from Brett Favre used to break his fingers. His fingers was kind of gnarled and all that from catching the passes from Brett all those years, because Brett, he put stank on the ball. When he throwing the ball at you, you got to be ready. That guy throws darts. That's not Drew. Drew didn't throw darts like that. I mean, he would put it on the line, but it wasn't one of those knock you out passes when you missed it and went through your hands and knocked you upside your head, that type of thing. But I don't see that part of the game from Jake Haener. I do see when he played in college that he had a degree of athleticism. I mean, not athleticism, accuracy. He had that because he don't have no athleticism. But in terms of his accuracy, Jake Haener had a degree of accuracy that he can deliver the ball. He was smart in college, like Drew Brees was intelligent on the football field. Jake Haener is intelligent too, collegiately speaking. It just hadn't clicked yet professionally. And maybe that's, and I can't put it all on Haener for him for it not connecting the way it's supposed to, be simply because the amount of confusion and flux in the Saints building, right? The guy had been here for 3 years, and every year he had a different offensive coordinator. Every year, that kind of inconsistency and turbulence could upset your development, because if you had a stable environment to grow in and you could set your feet in the soil and grow, then you would probably more than likely end up, being a lot further along, right? That's not like something that we can forget, just like if you consider it like a family, right? Like it's a family. If you have a child in a family and the child moving from family to family, from house to house, that would not be the most healthy way to rear, or definitely not a healthy way to rear a child. If the child is trying to put roots and grow and have friends at the schools they go to, or this type of stuff, and you move them this year to get a friend, and you move them away to a new, and you see what I'm saying? That's not a real good thing. So the inconsistency could be, realistically and commonsensically, could be stalling the development of Jake Haener. It could, because Drew is not going to sit up here and say Drew ain't going to pick one over the other. He ain't no bullshit artist like that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no reason for if he wanted to play it safe, he could have said that all of these guys remind me of myself at some point. So he picked one. He picked Haener. He was telling the truth. Haener can be in college. He was accurate. You can't deny that he was intelligent in college too, and his numbers were actually pretty respectable in college to get him picked as the number 4 quarterback in the draft. And I remember when they were drafting him, a lot, Pete Carmichael and all this kind of stuff, they were trying to do lightweight comparisons about what they've seen, not just the height standpoint, but what they thought that Haener can bring to him and what he can do in his offense. So in the end, it's just simply what it is. But that's all I get out of it. That's what the hell I get. I don't know about all the rest of this other stuff. All right. So, yeah, that's basically what he said. All right. So, anyway, 985 said height is all. We haven't, and no disrespect to, to Jake Haener, we haven't seen enough of Jake Haener professionally in a way where, dare I say, where it was worth anything. Like the game against, what was it, Washington, that I always talk about, when he ran the first team offense and they were trash. They didn't have any energy, no intensity, no leadership. He had no pocket command, nothing in running that first team game. They didn't put nothing. They third and outed every drive, and it was horrible. Second half comes, they adjust. They put Spencer Rattler in the game. They almost beat that team. If they would have put Spencer in that game and pulled Jake out of there at the midway part of the second half, or the second quarter of that game, and put Spencer in there, the Saints would have won that game. They would have won that game, because when they put Spencer in there after the second half, they almost won. They almost beat him. He just ran out of time. If you'd have gave him a half of that second quarter and put Spencer in there, the Saints would have won that game. They would have won that game. It don't take me 2 full quarters to see a quarterback ain't doing nothing with my offense. And I know I got to get a win. I'm not going to give him no 2 full quarters. A quarter's enough if you want to give him a little leverage, a little leeway, a half a quarter. But after that, man, we got to get this guy out of here. We got to get something, a field goal or something. We got to get them moving. So, I mean, that's all I see for. I don't know what Drew Brees is talking about. Maybe he's talking about height and how, his degree of accuracy in college and what he did in college, because I don't see nothing else professionally to even much. And I don't even think it's a fair comparison even for Drew Brees to even put that kind of, they even said that'll give Haener some confidence, but there's such thing as false confidence. It's false confidence like a dog. All right, anyway, man, I just wanted to share that with y'all, man. We're going to cover this next article. Shout out to Saints Wire, man, with the scoop here. 4 late summer free agent signings who could still help New Orleans Saints. They can still help the black and gold. If the black and gold wanted to, can we get some help for signings that can actually help, right? Saints headed into fascinating season, preseason close, the first preseason game close and almost underway. These are some guys the Saints could still call on. Asante Samuel Jr. was a guy that we talked about. Asante Samuel Jr. was a player that the Saints brought in for a visit. Right now, Mr. Samuel is still out there in free agent land available. What's the latest? Cornerback Asante Samuel Jr. would be the obvious first choice in pretty much any scenario where he's healthy after an offseason neck surgery. There are questions about how much he may find on the market and more importantly, how this health setback could affect his timeline. Regardless, he would be a great ball hawking corner to pick up for the Saints, and the addition could be a low risk for the team, and considering his new deal may not be as high value as initially anticipated. Indeed. So the reality, going back to Asante Samuel Jr., is the fact that that's what I heard. Is the fact is he has a certain amount of teams that he's interested in playing for, and the fact that a lot of people are still thinking about what's going on with his neck, right? Because if you bring Asante Samuel Jr. in and you're interested in signing him to a contract, he must pass a physical. You got to pass a physical. If he doesn't pass the physical, hey, man, we can't do nothing with you. I know he ain't going to cost a lot of money because to get these guys at this point right now when your team is pretty much 95% complete, right? And 5% change, whatever. But 95%, went through the draft, went through several layers of free agency, right? Picked up, signed your undrafted guys, picked up some loose free agents that was out there here or there. So right now, like you've seen Keenan Allen sign a 1-year deal with this same team for like $8+ million. It's still, you're not going, they're not going to be breaking the bank, so to speak, right now. So Asante Samuel Jr. would definitely help. He would definitely be a spark plug there. But once again, like I said, it's the issue of how far along is he with the neck issue, with the neck injury. How far is he in terms of health-wise? A lot of people don't think he's quite there yet. That's why you haven't seen him sign. So we'll be watching over the next couple of weeks because something should pop. All right, with Keenan Allen signed and gone, how about Amari Cooper for the Saints? And this is what the writer puts there. Amari Cooper there, veteran wideout. Amari Cooper would also add some value to his current, to the current iteration of the Saints, just in a different way. The team is extremely short on the reliable wide receiver options who have proven themselves recently. And with the depth chart looking less than optimal there, bringing in someone with tons of experience like Cooper would be an immediate plug-and-play option in Kellen's offense and would be fun to say at the very least. So, yes, indeed. Amari Cooper, who to you, okay, let's say this. We know Amari Cooper's not better than Chris Olave. To me, he's not better than Rashid Shaheed, right? He's a complete wide receiver. We're talking about better than insofar as, if you had to rank them in terms of your current wide receiver hierarchy, where would Amari Cooper fall in the Saints wide receiver hierarchy? Is he better than Brandon Cooks? Would he be the third best wide receiver on the Saints squad, right? We know he ain't fast and all that. He a tough-ass possession wide receiver guy, right? That could make a difference. He won't cost a lot of money. I wouldn't be mad about that. But some can argue that if the Saints did sign Amari Cooper, that he could be probably the third best wide receiver on the team, depending on where you have Brandon Cooks ranked there. But he'll be, at the very least, the top 3 or 4 best wide receiver on your staff, and he won't cost you a ton of money. I think it makes sense because outside of that, the Saints don't have really anybody else on the team that if one of these other guys that we talked about, the top 3 of the track stars, Olave, Rashid, and Cooks, if one of them guys get hurt, who are you going to fall to? Who are you going to rely on? I mean, you got guys, Cedric Wilson Jr., Bub Means, Kevin Austin Jr., Dante Pettis, Mason Tipton, Donovan Peoples-Jones. We hadn't heard anything from him. And then you got other young, inexperienced wide receivers like Tyree and Moochie Dixon. These are practice squad potential special team guys on the return side. But if injuries start hitting the wide receiver group, where you going to go to? And this is the thing I talked about on the other stream. I just don't get it about the Saints offensively speaking. I don't get it. Defensively, the Saints went out and got guys. They went out and actually got guys actually went out and got people that can help them be a better defense. Guys with experience, guys that played the position, guys that Brandon Staley knew that played in his units before, whether they were with the Chargers or with the Rams, wherever he went at. He picked guys he knew, like Jonah Williams, like Chris Rump II. He picked up people that he knew would help. The Saints on the defensive side traded for Divine Gacho and put him at the nose tackle position. They gave up a 7th round, 2026 pick to the Patriots to get a starting level nose tackle. They brung him in trade. You see what I'm saying? They had significant trades. I ain't gonna call those bad guys, but those guys know how to play the system that Coach Staley's trying to do on that side. These are veteran guys that know how to play the system. On the offensive side with the Saints, I don't understand why that approach is not the same. Like, you brung in Gabe Davis for a look-see and didn't do nothing else. If you brung in Noah Fant, and I'm like, okay, because it's two schizophrenic vantage points, two different mindsets totally. Staley's like, man, I ain't playing around. I want this dude fit the system. The Saints brung in Noah Fant, who wasn't even supposed to be there. Them people put Noah Fant in the street, and that was to have a tight end that is good as a Noah Fant available at that time, who just wanted a year and $8 million or something like that for Cincinnati game. Why would I not make that happen when I got 2 tight ends that I relied on the last couple of years, both of them sitting on the goddamn pup list? I mean, both of them hurt. Who I'm going to rely on? Jake Stahl. Jake Stahl is a blocking tight end. I'm not going to count on him to be a starting tight end for me, or even a compliment guy, right? If I have I'm having 3 tight ends or even 4 tight ends, he would be the 3rd tight end I would use in blocking situation when I want to run the ball or this type of thing, right? They don't have a fullback in this offense, but tight end, the closest thing to it would be Jake Stahl. He would be used like that. Then behind them, you got guys that you don't know what's going on with. You don't know, you got Matavo's a 7th-round pick. He's a rookie. You got these other guys like Jacobson and Trayton Welch and these other people. You're like, who the hell is these guys? Well, they're unproven people. The Saints claimed Mason Pline, who's 6'7", 260-pound tight end with basketball skills off of the waiver wire from the 49ers, which is intriguing. I would give you that. But I would take Noah Fant any day because I know what I'm getting with Noah Fant for $8 million, and I'm sitting at $20+ million on my cap. I'm not playing no games. The offense has to run the football, and Noah Fant's a decent blocker. You can also have Juwan Johnson and Noah Fant out there, and he's a big red zone weapon as well. He's gone. So you have a flirtation with that with these guys, and Gabe Davis, who takes the tops off defense, makes tough catches, burn, all this kind of stuff. Gabe Davis is good. We don't want none of that. Then you got the guy Keenan Allen out there. The Saints, I don't think the Saints ever talked to him. It was a bunch of rumorville about them. They never brung him in. They never tried him out. They, all this kind of stuff. And now he signs back with the Chargers. And now they sitting there, oh, we good. Are you really that good? That's what I'm saying. Amari Cooper, if it wasn't Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, somebody makes sense. You got to have somebody else. You got to have at least 4 guys. These other guys, you don't know what they're going to do. Now, I hear people saying, Bub Means is the guy. Bub Means ain't showed me nothing. He hadn't showed me anything. Even in camp, he had a few here, there, in the thirds. The guy that's really tearing it up in camp of the unknown guys is Mason Tipton. Am I surprised by Mason Tipton doing what he did this camp, catching passes and showing out? No, he did that last practice season. He did that last week. The same stuff you see Mason Tipton doing this year in camp was the same stuff he did last year. And what happened when he got into the regular season? Out there dropping passes, not knowing his playbook, lost. Then they lost faith on him and then benched him actively. And then that's how we found out about Dante Pettis and all these other wide receivers, because the Saints looked past him and said, let me try these other guys. And they discovered Pettis, right? With his kick return ability, the fact that he actually can catch the ball. He has good speed. He's very quick. He runs decent routes. And they might have found a jewel in the dark with Dante Pettis, which I think he makes the team if the Saints keep 5, because he'll be the best return man not named Rashid Shaheed. Let's keep it a buck. But outside of that, why not take a shot at Amari Cooper? He's not going to cost you a lot of money. I agree with the writer. We need to go ahead on and investigate that because none of these other guys are stepping up and doing nothing. And you know the Saints going to deal with some injury. You got to get ahead of it. Be proactive in the approach and not reactive after the injury start tearing you down. Go get another veteran with a name that's done something. Even he might not. This guy ain't what he used to be, but he's still better than 75% of the wide receivers that you currently have on your team. Let's just say that, right? Right. All right, let's move on to what the next option is for him. You got a linebacker here, Kazir White. I think this guy used to play for the Bears, if I'm not mistaken. In Cardinals, and I think he played with the Bears. But Kazir White, highly productive linebacker. White is a personal favorite for the writer, predominantly because of his best season so far. Came under the new Saints defensive coordinator, Brandon Staley, back in 2021 with the Chargers. White has been, okay, I remember him now. White has great numbers all across the board in his career on the stat sheet and will provide some great coverage abilities or capabilities in the linebacker room that could desperately use some help in that department. This is one of the things we have. White has a familiarity with Coach Staley. Several players on this defense have a familiarity. He got guys that know his system that can teach the system to other guys so they can kind of get it going. Now, whatever Staley's running, whether it's a 34 defense or a 4-2-5 or a 5-1, what is it? A 5-1-5. You know, when you have 5 defensive linemen up front, 1 linebacker, and 5 defensive backs, because they could do that too. Whatever the defense is, or however it runs, you got to have somebody with the ability to be able to tackle, to go up and play the run, and to drop into coverage against tight ends and play the pass as well. Whatever the case may be, we got to have depth there. Now you got a very old Demario Davis on the last year of his contract, and Pete Werner, who for the majority of his career has missed a lot of games for the Saints. Right? If you look in the depth chart behind these gentlemen, you would see Nephi Sewell, who busted his leg last summer, come back off injury. We got Jalen Ford, and we got really Danny Stutzman is the guy. Danny Stutzman is really encouraging, but outside of that, man, DeMarco Jackson, he ain't gonna cut it. So adding a Kazir White, a linebacker still in his prime who played in the system, would be an interesting bet for the Saints. And this is stuff like we talked about before. And then, of course, from the offensive line standpoint, how about Brandon Scherff, right? Longtime starting guard. Brandon Scherff would also be a solid pickup overall, as he's been still proven to be a reliable option later in his career with no sacks allowed and only 17 pressures allowed in 2024 on over 1,000 snaps. Scherff would be a clear upgrade at guard. It's just a matter of whether he could make the transition to left guard, considering Cesar Ruiz has the right side locked up for now. If Penning does not prove to be a better option, having experienced pros like Scherff and Radunz behind them could be quality depth. And I get it. Now, I would say it's not a bad call for this player because I've seen him play. Not a bad call at all for the writer. I would prefer a tackle. I mean, I think the backup guard depth, in my opinion, you are in better hands with backup guard depth than you are at backup tackle depth. Just keeping it all the way funky. If something happens to either one of our young, talented bookend tackles, God forbid, we're going to have some problems. You're going to put Landon Young is in Barry Wesley. Those are some of your backup tackles. I'm not cool with that at all. Can we get a veteran offensive tackle, please? We got the money, but that's what I'm saying about how the Saints offensively mindset it, how they go. Like they're really comfortable with all these inexperienced offensive linemen. These inexperienced wide receivers. And I'm like, oh, listen, we need to add some veterans. there, please. But, it is what it is. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see. You might find some of these people here to his liking. I don't know, fam. But for me, as far as I'm concerned, I don't like it. I'm going to just be honest with you. All right. Anyway, let's keep it going, man. I wasn't going to keep y'all long on the stream, man. If y'all got any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat right now. I'm not going to be on the stream for very long. I will be back later on tonight to cover what the Saints do tonight. We're going to do a late stream after the Saints practice tonight. We'll have a Saturday stream as well, the preview. And, of course, the watch party will be Sunday afternoon. We are back doing the watch parties, man. I love the watch parties, man. I love kicking in with the fam. All right, Mr. Robert, how you doing, sir? Says, Q, what need do you think we really need the most? I saw a real good, solid offensive lineman because them boys weak up front. I don't care how much they improve. The biggest need the Saints have, right? They got pretty much the starting positions are covered. I think they're all right. My issue is with the depth because I'm bracing for being a realist and bracing for injuries when they start like they hit us last year. We wasn't prepared. We got to learn from what we did last year. So I would have to say that the need would be better depth. I would like to have a better center than Will Clapp backing up Eric McCoy. Even if I got a trade for him, the guy could play center or guard. He could provide insurance for that. I would be cool with that. I would like to have a better tackle than what we have, a better tackle. If we got to go to trade or free agency, however we need to do to acquire better backups at the center and tackle position, I would be good. If we can get another center to compete with Will Clapp, we get another tackle that compete with these other guys. Not Mendoza, no disrespect to Mendoza, but I'm talking about a veteran who's a guy that played for years, still has some prime in him, and he's a really good backup to the tackle position. That we remember like Hurst. When Hurst first came in, he was a guy, he was known as the Saints' sixth offensive lineman, which means Hurst could play tackle or guard. And for a while, Hurst was good until he got older, then he got burnt a lot. But that's what I'm looking for. The sixth offensive lineman would be Dylan Redunce. And Dylan Redunce only plays the guard position. Don't know nothing about no tackle. So that's what I would pinpoint, my friend. Thank you for asking the question. I want better depth with the offense. That's what I'm looking. I want better depth with the backup offensive line because I seen what happened to us last year, not just for McCoy, but also when them other guys that stunk like Lemieux and Ali Udo, these trash backups that we had here last year. We need better backups than what we have. Because I'm telling y'all, it only take one, and next thing you know, everything changes. We got to have better backups on the offensive line. That's been where I've been for this whole time. It's like these backups are not good enough. No disrespect to them, but they're not better than what we had. Landon Young is and like I said, to be fair, perhaps having Brendan Nugent, who's the offensive line coach here, maybe Nugent can get something more out of these guys. That's fair to say because all coaches are not created equal. So perhaps Nugent can get something out of him that other guy last year couldn't get, right? I don't know. I'm just saying, fam, I don't know. All right. So anyway, what's up, Maul? Yes, Cedric Wilson Jr. is still here. All right. Any questions, fam? PJ, what's up, PJ? How you doing, sir? He said, I think you just hit it on the head. Those players followed the coach. He says, where is that on the offensive? I know, bro. Ain't that crazy? Where is that on the offensive side? Like, for instance, like all of the free agents that were in the later layers of free agency were guys that had connections to Kellen Moore, but he didn't even look their way. I was like, what? Keenan Allen. Bro, Keenan Allen is better, if you sign Keenan Allen would be your second best receiver. He was starred opposite of Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed in the slot. That is a farmable wide receiver core. You can still keep Brandon Cooks. You can still keep Cooks because Cooks will provide value for you if you wanted to put Rashid Shaheed in kick return situation every now and again to be the returner. You can still do that every now and again, right? Because you got Cooks. But Keenan Allen would have made a lot of sense for the Saints. He was out there when Kellen was the offensive coordinator in Charger land. He knows him. Maybe he don't like him. Maybe that's why they did. Maybe it's something more than what we know. But he worked with that guy before. Didn't he work with Amari Cooper in Dallas when Cooper was out there? Didn't Kellen Moore work with Cooper? Put it in the chat. Most of these guys that we're talking about, Kellen Moore has worked with them in the past. So it should, you see what I'm saying? So whether it's like Lyle Collins, this is I'm like, man, listen, it keep happening. Lyle Collins was basically online promoting and marketing for a job with the Saints. And what the Saints did, they went and signed Shane Lemieux, who Kellen Moore didn't have nothing to do with no Shane Lemieux. They signed him, and then later on the same day, the Cowboys brought Lyle Collins back. Now, who out there among you think that even though Lyle Collins is not in his prime anymore, who out there thinks that Lyle Collins is worse than Shane Lemieux? Which is a better player? Is Shane Lemieux better or Lyle Collins is better? Whoever says it's Shane Lemieux, you need to put that moonshine down. You need to put that damn moonshine down. I'm just saying, y'all, it's weird because Staley's doing it with the defense. Chris Rump, Jonah Williams, etc. Those guys, even Isaac Yiadom. Didn't he work with Isaac Yiadom? Did he? I want to say he did. I don't know. But it happened multiple times on the defense with Staley. But how you picking Shane Lemieux over Lyle Collins? How you not bringing in Keenan Allen and he wanted 1 year, $8 million? How you bring in Noah Fant and don't sign Noah Fant when you got a need for a real need, not no developmental guy? But what if Juwan Johnson gets hurt and you got Noah Fant there? I'd rather have two good ones than one good one. All the other guys are hurt. You don't have to rush no what's his name? Taysom. You have to work Taysom, or what's the other tight end? Foster. You don't have to rush Foster or Taysom back from injury. You can allow them to rehab normally, organically. But you have a Noah Fant. That's a guy with experience. Stats comparable to Juwan Johnson. Juwan was like, man, I'd love to have that guy here. What the Saints do, let him go, and he signed with the Bengals for 1 year, $8 million. Man, get out of here, man. If that's what you want, he passed the physical, and if he's an upgrade, because you bring him in, he arguably your second best tight end in the game. In some ways, he actually better than Juwan Johnson. But you have a starter and a possible co-starter. You get what I'm saying? No, we're gonna just let you walk, Mr. Noah Fant, to go to Cincinnati. No, Gabe Davis is out there. We tried him, yeah, but we good with what's the guy named Cedric Wilson Jr. We talk about men that played in real NFL action, that got touchdowns, that actually have a feel for the game, not developmental guys. Which, if you have young quarterbacks on your team, you're gonna want to have a few of those guys littered in your offense anyway, right? So I don't know why it's like that for Kellen Moore, why he don't reach out to some of these guys he worked with. Maybe he don't like them. I don't know what's going on, but it just didn't happen. We signed guys that we had last year that we know ain't no good. I don't like them guys. I don't like Shane Lemieux. I think Shane Lemieux garbage. No disrespect, but it is disrespect. But it's just my opinion. I think he garbage. All right. Any questions? What's up, Jamaica? Shout out to Jamaica. Good to see you in the chat. Much love to YO. What's up, YO? Shout out to my girl T-Mama. I see you. I see you, Queen. All right. Brother Phillip says, we got extra cap space. Now I don't see why we haven't already beefed up our O-line. We could definitely compete with a good O-line play. Thank you, brother. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what they're doing. All I can just take a stab at and say, well, he believes in these undrafted guys. That he can make some of these guys into competent backups. A lot of these guys are inexperienced guys. You need veterans in the mix. You don't totally rely on guys that don't have no experience. We know eventually they're gonna get experience, but you still have to have a veteran on the backup. Like, I don't want no inexperienced offensive lineman. If injuries hit one of our tackles, I don't want none of them guys in there. They're screwing and gumming up the works. All right, T-Mom says, Q, do they have what it takes to build up what they have? I'm thinking yeah, that's the point. I don't know. We got to see because maybe they do have it, T-Mama. We'll see. I know Brendan Nugent did a good job in building up on some linemen, but he had some talent to work with. Like Brendan Nugent didn't have a bunch of garbage time guys, right? He had guys like who was with him? Evans, Carl Nix. But these were picks. These were guys that were draft picks. I think didn't he have Teron Armstead when he was here with Brandon Nugent worked Teron Armstead? And we know Teron Armstead was what was he? Teron was drafted. Wasn't he drafted? A fourth round? Yeah, Teron Armstead was a fourth round selection out of Arkansas Pine Bluff? But they seen something in these guys, right? But these were draft pick guys. Now every now and again we get an undrafted guy that'll step up in there. Maybe Nugent could turn these guys. That's a lot, but that's a lot of magic to ask a guy to do. All right, Rich Roo says, Q, look at your chat on Patreon for me. All right, bro. Thank you. Appreciate you there for the super chat, my man. Thank you there. Appreciate you there. Brother Brent, thank you, sir. Thank you there. OG says, Q, you know who's to blame for this, right?
Hold on now. Hold on, Jerry. Hold on. I'm going to stop. Hold on. Let me tell you something there, guy. Hold on. Don't bring that shit in here today. Hold on now. I'm somewhere. I'm sitting on the beach. All right, hold on now. You guys, it's on the coach now. You guys blame him for it. Hold on now, goddammit. I know where you're hitting at. I got to stop you right in your chat. Right there, guy. Hold on now. We're not going to let you do that.
All right, there it is. P. Shine said that's Mickey Mouse with them decisions.
Hold on, goddammit. Hold on. Let me stop you. Hold on, P. Shine. You're not shining on that one, goddamn. That's a lie. That's not my call. Listen, all these guys, they come to me. And hold on. Let me tell you how this goes. Those guys come here and they say, hold on, Mickey, I want to sign this player. And I say, okay, and I sign them. I don't go out and look at the players. They do. They tell me they want me to sign that guy, and I sign them. That's how it goes. So you blame the coach on that.
And that's literally what Mickey Loomis would do, too. I'm telling y'all. That's how his old butt would do. All right, what's up, Rise in 2012 says, Q, seems like too much politics in the climate. All right, bro. What you mean, bro? All right. You talking about in the foot? Oh, yeah, it could be, bro. In there, yeah, you might, and with the team and everything. Yeah, but that's always the case. It'd always be the case, right? A lot of times, this is how I go. I think a big problem with a lot of the contention goes on because of the politics, like the parties. A lot of times, the parties don't be having the people best interest in mind. They don't want to listen to you. They'll try to trick and confuse you to go and vote for something against your own self-interest. Because we're not actually there reading this stuff that they put in their pen to. They selling us out every day. We just don't realize it until 4 years down the line when it start really impacting you. Then they point at each other and blame each other for something they both signed because one can't sign it if the other one don't help them. See, that's the point where, I don't get caught into that. I understood and knew a long time ago that they're both the same party. They're just two separate sides of the same damn building. I learned that a long time ago. And how you can learn it, go research where they started from. Go back and look up where they came from and get your mind blown and find out where they started from and how they began. Go look at them. And then you can follow the timeline and see how they changed from this, that, and the third, how they flip-flop sides and all this kind of stuff. All that. When you find out the history and the pattern of where it comes from, then you understand, man, listen, this a game here. And then it plays into
The divide and conquer. They can't rule you or dominate you unless they divide you at every increment they can. We talk about they divide men from women, they divide this genders, they divide this, they divide this. Everything is division. That's how they rule and conquer the people. There's only a small percentage of them. And they really good at lying and manipulating people to go, but you got to know order two things. Pray for discernment that'll give the Most High bless you with the ability to know stuff from sugar, if you know what I mean. And the second thing is do your homework on these people and learn out where these groups started from, and then understand and work from that forward. And then you'll get the same comprehension that I got. Because history tells the truth all the time. It really does. The reason why they're able to do what they do is because of that. They divide the people every way they can, from skin color to gender to sex to all they do. They done got you cut up every different way you possibly can. And then while they doing that, they just tearing up everything. And then when you turn around and look and say, you did that, they point at each other. The groups point at each other. He did it. That's what they do. That's why, and they play the game every 4 years, the same stuff over and over again. They specialize in getting you to go against your own interests. They don't listen to you. They trick you into what better benefits them so they can retain power. That's why they only got 2 people fighting for the seat of the land every damn 4 years or whatever it is. There's only two groups fighting. There's not 5 or 6 of them. They got a bunch of other political groups in this country. Why every damn year we got the same 2 people butting heads for it? Because it's not 2 different people. It's one group with 2 different sides of the building. You cannot pass nothing except for maybe they do executive orders that can be undermined or overturned when the next guy get in here. But listen to me and hear me well. Do your history. Do your history. All right, anyway, that's all I'm going to say on it. All right, anyway, as we go. But yeah, that's the bottom line, man. All right, anyway, Black Mages, I think we will know what we need to know after the first preseason game. We'll get it. The Parsons comment, people saying Parsons. The Parsons comment, Jerry Jones is not trading Parsons. He's not trading Micah Parsons. You're not going to do it. You know, Jerry Jones always does this stuff with some of these players. When Dak Prescott wanted his money, he wouldn't pay him. He made him wait. It's the same thing with Parsons. Parsons should get that money. He earned that money. He's very good, and their defense ain't the same if Parsons is not there. He's an elite level player on every level. We know that about Parsons. But Jerry Jones is not going to trade Parsons to anybody, let alone the Saints. You know, he demanded that he wants to be traded. He won't be traded. He won't be traded. It's a power game. And I thought Jerry Jones turned it over to Stephen Jones, his son or whoever the dude is. I thought that guy was running the team. You see how it is? This guy behind the scene can't just let these guys go ahead and operate the team. Can't do it. Can't do it. The guy is one of these egomaniacs. You gotta have his hand on the thumb. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, man. But it is. I guarantee you, it's not. They're not going to trade that man. That man would be an absolute idiot if he traded that guy. But anyway, Jack says, is a rebuild over yet? No, not yet, bro. Wait till next year. That's what happens. Youngblood says, Q, I still can't figure out why the Saints didn't resign MVS. I would have loved to see him out there with Olave and Shaheed. Yeah, I know, bro. That's what I was advocating for. When they signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I thought they was going to pivot to MVS. That's what I thought. They were going to go to MVS. They did not do that. They decided MVS went and followed Clint Kubiak and that whole little staff that he had. Kubiak went and took this offensive coordinator job, and he brought the offensive line coach, the QB coach, all his little people that was working with him down here up to Seattle with him. That's why I don't have no confidence in the Seattle offense. That's why they're going to stink. They're going to stink because the guy don't know what he's doing. That's the bottom line. If he can't overuse his stars, he can't pivot to nobody else. You just take his people away and force him to adjust. He can't do it. They don't have no imagination. But I thought MVS would be a guy the Saints signed because of his local ties. He done enough in the season to earn the contract. Saints says no. They let it roll. I didn't understand that. I didn't get that.
All right. So anyway, with that being said, what's up, Tasha? I'm talking about your Cowboys, girl. She said you've been on an hour today. Let's see how long you're going to be. Okay, Tasha, I see, baby. You got the stopwatch. Okay, I got. Oh man! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Thank you, Tasha. Tasha said that because she was mad because I already figured this out. What my dog Sean at? Sean, say something in the chat, bro. Where's Sean at, bro? Sean, where you at, dog? You heard what Tasha said? I'm gonna be tricked and stand on for another. She said she only said that because she heard what I said about them Cowboys. That's why she got mad. Because I called Jerry Jones, what I called him? An egomaniac. Don't be talking about my Cowboys, Q. That's what she was saying. I heard her. Don't be talking about my Cowboys. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about them Cowboys. Them Cowboys are acting. They're not doing good, Tasha. They treating their star wrong, and that usually is a bad sign for other people. You look at if they got if guys on the team, other people that's not as prolific as a Parsons, and they're looking at how Jerry Jones is treating Parsons, and they're saying, man, this dude don't have no love for nobody. If he treat Parsons like that, imagine what he gonna do with me. I'm telling you, that's a bad look. I'm just gonna be honest with you. All right, J Rock. So what's up, J Rock? J Rock says Q Turn was okay. Third round. Okay, I'm a little bit off. I'm sorry, bro. It's all jam and slam packed up here, bro. I thought you said a third. Yeah, I said a fourth rounder. Yeah, my bad. My bad. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you heard her, huh? She won't run me off now. She won't run me off now because I was disrespecting them Cowboys. And I really wasn't disrespecting the Cowboys. All I was saying was that Jerry Jones, and Tasha know that Jerry Jones is an egomaniac. She know that he an egomaniac. You got that boy running the team, the dude, his son. I think it's his son. He got the same name. It could be. I don't know what he is. But he got him. He's the general manager, whatever it is. But there ain't no real general managers. He just got puppet people there. And he just tell them, hey, don't do that, do this, do that, do that, do this. And then think that people going to think it's them making it when they know that's you doing that. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Look, there she go. You could talk about my Cowboys. She said, you could talk about my Cowboys all you want. I'm talking about them bad. Okay, all right. That we on the same page, baby. Now, Tasha, I want you to hold this energy, baby, all the way through the whole season, and then take that hat off, the cowboy hat off, burn it, and put a black and gold hat on. We almost there. We almost there, baby. We almost there. Go my dog. He says, all I'm saying is who that. Okay, I see what you're doing now. You trying, okay, listen. Hey, bro, don't let me get you in trouble now, okay? All right? I'm not getting, listen, Tasha, I'm not getting Sean in trouble. You know, I'm not going to get the brother in trouble. This is, you know what I'm saying? This is on me. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to bring Sean. We're not going to bring him on in there. We're going to chill. We're going, okay, that, leave him alone. That's all over that. These comments are how the little banner go, y'all, the disclaimer you get when you start some of them controversial broadcasts is like, this opinion is the opinion of the host and not of the network. That kind of thing. That part. All right. We love Tasha, though. Shout out to Tasha and Sean, man. We love them, man. Shout out to y'all, man. All right. So anyway, he says Q that his son is the VP. Oh, wow. Do anybody out here believe that anybody else but Jerry Jones is running the Cowboys? Seriously, come on. Come on. We know it's Jerry Jones. It's bad. He got it set up foolishly. OG enjoying himself. All right. Yeah, I got you. Now Tasha's all right, baby. We gotta be patient. Now we got you there. The people mad at the Cowboys right now because of obvious reasons, right? I'm not gonna bring up week number 2. We're not gonna do that. I'm gonna be bigger than that. I'm gonna play it up here because we up here, we ain't down there, right? I ain't gonna bring up week 2. You know what happened. You know, all I'm gonna say is we love you
and Who Dat. Two things. We love you and Who Dat. I'm not going to break up week number 2. We just going to say we love you, Tasha, and Who Dat. All right, we're going to do that. All right. All right. All right. Yeah, there we go. All right. Sean says, can you remember when I tried to get her to come back to Black Gold? Yeah, I know, bro. I remember the time you bet. Y'all bet. I remember that time too. I remember that. All right. All right. Yeah, I remember you won that bet too. I remember you won that bet. Cartel said, I can't I like to pick up some Joe Milton and Pickens though. Yeah, Joe Milton, I think he got hurt, but Pickens was really good pick up for him. But let's see what they got going. Let's see what they got going, because I always like to see the Cowboys at full strength. Now, I don't think we don't got nothing to do with them this year in playing them. But do we? I don't think. No, we don't play them this year. But as far as the Saints are concerned, like I know that when we got a young offense, right? Well, maybe not a young offense. Got young quarterbacks at the position. We got veterans everywhere along the offense, right? We got, like I said, we have the potential to be really good, but the issue is, I want to say, is depth. We all know this is not it's not something that is going to be very complicated to understand what the Saints are going to do. They're going to run the football, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to run the football, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it's going to be. I applaud Coach Nugent, who's the offensive line coach, for giving Trevor Penning a role. He basically told Penning that he is what he labeled him as? Is it tone setter? I want to say, for lack of better words, they gave Penning the role as tone setter, right? That's what I'm thinking, like the role of tone setter, like he was going to be the guy that set the tone or this type of thing. Which is good because, you got to make him inclusive, right? We know that he's aggressive. We know that Pennings is nasty when he needs to be. The last several times when he knocked somebody down or blocked them after the whistle, he kind of walks away. He don't engage, right? They push at him. He just kind of walks away. So he kind of fixed that part of it. But, like I said, right now, Penning looks decent, right? We just make sure the fundamental stuff sticks. But when you go to the depth behind the Saints, we talked about, go look up all of the last 3 or 4 years of how many games that Eric McCoy has missed. It's a troubling trend of games, and it happens. It's a physical sport. Guys get hurt. It is very rare that the Saints offensive line will go the entire 18 weeks, not counting the playoffs, healthy. That's stuff that you rarely see. So, listen, that's why depth is imperative. So maybe we'll see what these preseason games look like, fam, and wait till the backups come in. Then you'll see everything you need to see. Because maybe they don't see it. Maybe wait until the backups get in there in these preseason games. Boy, you're going to see some stuff. Oh, you lost that bet, Sean? I didn't know, bro. I know you lost that bet. And there you go. Okay, there you go. Tasha says special place in hell for Jerry Jones. Yeah, Jerry Jones has been, doing some, some stuff, but he ain't the only one. Gail been doing some stuff. All of them, maybe they all play cards and meet at the same place where the fire is burning, because that's where they all going at the end of the day, if you think about it, what they've been involved with. All right, anyway, Philip says Trevor just needs to improve backpedaling. That's where his problem was. He couldn't handle the speed of the edge because he kept, his backpedaling. Yeah, that's true, Philip. Shout out to you, bro. That's true. His backpedaling has to work. But his thing is, too, is he keeps he goes up too high. You don't give yourself leverage. And it's difficult being a 6'7" human being playing the guard position. You don't see a lot of 6'7", 6'8" guards. Those are usually guys that play the edge. So to have Penning at 6'7" playing the guard position, his natural inclination is to go up high. He would have to bend his knees and learn how to do that. We'll see if Coach Nugent what he can do. That's a lot to ask the man to do.
and he's been failing at tackle position the last something odd years. You just trying to salvage a pick so you don't get burned for saying you keep drafting these people that ain't working out. You drafted Davenport and Peyton Turner, guys that didn't help out. We got Isaiah Foskey they drafted 3 years ago, and Foskey ain't even on the field, can't even see the field. That's a wasted second-round pick. Could have did something else there. Then we got this other stuff going on where it's just a lot, man. Like with Penning, like they don't want Penning to fail, man. They don't want him to fail because that look bad. That they drafted linemen that aren't working out. So if just be ready that if he failed at guard, they prepared to play him at the center position. Ain't nothing left. If he fails at guard, they're gonna put him at center. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. It's totally ridiculous. Yeah, some of the family members asked me about Nick Saldiveri. I think it was KT. Asked me about that the previous stream. I think I missed that question. Shout out to you and Black Preacher Man for the cash super chats that time. I don't know if I thanked you, brothers, for that, but I'm doing it now. But the Nick Saldiveri thing you talked about, you asked me about, was, at some point, it got to be next year when he comes back, because I want to say next year will be his 4th year. I think that will be his last year to step up and do something. But then again, the Saints they can re-sign him on a cheaper deal at the end when his contract is up, like they did Landon Young. I don't know why they keep reaching to these dudes. That's a ton of guys out there on the offensive line we can bring on that can help. I just don't get that part of the game. All right. Okay, Rosin says he never lost faith in Penning's potential. I got you, bro. Philip says, I think the guard would be better suited for him. He does have to deal with speed coming off the edge. Last chance, no more tries. Maybe center, bro. If he come back on a cheap deal, hey, say we're going to try Penning at center this time. Man, them people trying to make that boy hit, man. All right. Tasha says, Q, people like Gail and Jerry and all those type folks are greedy and cold and heartless. What does the Bible say about the chances of a rich person getting into heaven? Put it in the chat. What Black Preacher Man at? What my biblical inspired folks are. What did it say about a rich person, the chances of a rich person getting into heaven? Put it in the chat. I'll highlight it. All right. Desi says, hopefully we can get some rest. All right. Shout out facts. All right. Thank you, Desi. All right. All right. So we're going to see, man. All right. Philip says no more. You already burned. You done burned up all of his lives. Huh? Well, hey, man, making Loomis, anything possible with Slick making Loomis. Don't ever forget that part about it. Don't forget that part. But anyway, that's the thing, man. We talk about the Saints in camp. Like they'll be practicing this afternoon, and we'll come back later on in the day, and we'll cover some more about it and recap today's practice. We have a preview of the Chargers matchup Saturday and the actual game itself on Sunday at 3:05 p.m. Sports Coma will be in the building with our live watch stream. If you've never been a part of it, please join us. We've been doing it for quite some time, man, and it is really fun. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's really fun to do those. All right, Jack says only a rich person that know how to knit gets into heaven. Cartel says it's like pushing a camel through the head of a needle. Okay, there you go. There you go. There you go. All right, Rose says it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. Good Lord. Good Lord. So that means, based on that powerful quote, that you know what people that are there and and what group they come from, you know, because what you do, you know, because it's a fine line, you know, here, because they often warn you not to sell your soul. You ain't supposed to make deals where you sell your soul. They don't want nothing. They traffic in souls because they don't have a soul. That's the thing. That's why they traffic in soul. That's why the demon wants your soul. His soul's been removed. You don't have a soul. So they traffic in human souls. You know, so it's a lot of stuff that a lot of them do in these spaces, and they got PR teams to clean them up. But really, a lot of these people are very horrible. You know, so like I said, you know, the Most High bring light to darkness, man. But that's a very powerful biblical quote, man. I often think about that. Yeah. Thank you, Demetrius. Shout out to y'all know. All right, Big Sean, everybody threw it in there. All right, shout out to you. Thank you, Tasha. All right, Philip saying who watching the Browns tonight? Not me. I'm gonna be doing the stream tonight. The hell with the Browns. All right. Yeah, Miss Desi says greed leads people away from being good, compassionate people sometimes. Indeed. I think money magnifies your true nature. Like people say, you got the money and went bad, you got a bunch of money and went. No. Money magnifies who you really are inside. If you're a good person, you're not gonna let money turn you into a demon. Facts, truth. You see somebody, if you got somebody that got a lot of money and they start acting bad and doing all this funny stuff, that's who they always been. And all the money is a magnifier for that. That's all it is. A good person who got morals and scruples would not allow something like money turn them into a batshit crazy demon. It just don't work like that. You was always that, and the money brung it out of your ass. That's the bottom line. Because a lot of people out there, the money don't damn you. It's your behavior. Because you could take, if you are a person that's successful, you can still do good for the community. You can still do great. You can feed people, clothe people. You know, you can eat. Literally change things around. You know, if you really wanted to, you know, you really could. If you can influence. You can have a positive influence on people's life. That's right, Cartel. That's right. They can blame all this or other stuff, man. Listen, fam. All that stuff is a magnifier of you, right? It's a magnifier of who you really truly are deep down inside. That's what that is. That's what it is. And if money turn you into a green-eyed demon, then that's what your nature has always been. You've always been rotten to the core. Or never let something as silly as money turn them upside down and inside out. They'll never do that. And they won't do everything or anything for it. They'll get it at their moral limit. They'll get it at their moral and integral limit at where they see it. They won't go to sell out to go and do it. They ain't going to do that for the money. They're not going to do that. And then the clowns that do that end up leaving a hole. We see that these entertainers and all these people do that all the time. So every part of themselves, and they got to dope and smoke and drink and everything else to forget the bargain they made. That's real deal spill. We don't do that. Whatever you are, is that money is going to bring it out of you. It's going to magnify who you really are deep down inside. That's the God honest truth. That's the God honest truth. The love, that's right, Sean, the love of money. The love of money. The love. It ain't saying money is the root of all evil. The love, because people get that mixed up. The love of it. But you can apply that to a lot of stuff that can tear you down. You know, if you ain't placing your love the right way you need to be putting it, that can bring you down, brothers and sisters. You know. All right. So anyway, man, listen, man, I'm about to get ready to get out of here. All right. That Tasha, I tried to ask you the other day how your boys are doing. Can't believe that. Yes, indeed. Yeah. How about that? My boys are doing fantastic. You know, my oldest son, you know, I got two boys, y'all know. And, you know, my son's popped up on stream. My youngest son always pops up on, you know, he used to pop up on stream. Y'all used to see him. But yeah, my oldest son is 18. He turned 18 on August the 3rd. My youngest son is 16. So I got 18, 16. Yes, indeed. Thank the Most High. They're great boys. I love them dearly. They're great children. You know, I hang out with my boys. We go to the barber shop and stuff like that. And we just kick it, you know, and talk and stuff like that. So they just great children. I thank the Most High for them, man. I really do. You know, to see them developing, they're respectable. My mama told me that. My pops tell me all the time. He says, son, I'm proud of you. You know, how you doing that with your children, you know, this type of stuff, you know. Because my father's, you know, his father wasn't in his life. My pops is a family man, but his father wasn't in his life. So he would often say, son, I appreciate how you doing that, because your sons need, you know, you being in their life and standing in their life and this type of stuff. It ain't easy all the time, but you there, you know. He always would commend me on that because, you know, his father wasn't in his life like that, you know, and he missed that. It helped define him as a man. So I always remember that, man, about what my pops tell me, you know. All right. He'll be, matter of fact, he'll be on the stream on Sunday as well. All right. You know, we do the post game. So Pops Q will be on there. All right, Desi, one more thing. She says that what's with the NFL putting certain things on networks we have to pay for. I was fine with CBS, NBC, and Fox. Yeah, indeed, they changed it up. I think Amazon gave the NFL like $100 billion or something like that. Y'all, some crazy money. They gave them like $100 billion, 111 was it? $1 billion in that Fox deal to the NFL. These people, unbelievable. Plus all the betting money. That's why, and that's another thing to mention too. Come to think about it, like some of these athletes, they're not sitting up there saying, oh yeah, congratulations to the NFL. Okay, let me get more money here. Because if the league is making more money, you can't expect the player, especially a Parsons, a Micah Parsons, to say, okay, yeah, I won't. If the league got $1,100 billion this year, whatever they should have gave him his contract last year before a lot of this stuff kicked into fruition, or whenever it started changing over, because they will still be on the old money. When them guys see that new money the NFL's getting, they want a piece of that, especially a superstar like Parsons. He gonna want a piece of that money. Like, I ain't gonna get this. Oh, I'm not. Y'all get all these big money deals. I ain't working with old money. Y'all making more. We make more together. And remember, there's no cap on the owners, but there's a cap on the players. There's a salary cap on the players, but the owners can make as much money as they want to. They can make money. That's why Gail is one of the richest. I think the Chicken Man is richer than her. But with this new money coming in here, that's a whole nother. That's the thing that they're arguing about in the NBA about expansion. Those greedy owners don't want to expand 2 more teams. They don't want to give up the money. No, you greedy dog. Don't you understand? More teams mean more revenue. You're not getting anything out of that market. That means more money. They're so greedy. They're so greedy, man. It's ridiculous. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you for that. Thank y'all, man. Appreciate you. Thank you, Brian. All right. Yeah. Thank y'all, man. Yeah, I don't know what it means a lot. Oh, okay. Okay, Sean. I see you, bro. I see. Yeah. Yeah. It means, yeah. So that's the money, man. A lot of these players want that new money. So you're going to see that money go out. Like, it's going to be happening in the NFL and NBA. If the leagues are making more money, the players are going to want more money. They're not going to stay on the old money deal. The money's going to go up because if they got more, that means they want more. We want more. It's their mind on the line. It's their bodies on the line. You see what I'm saying? The mother guy's sitting up in a suite somewhere drinking wine and eating caviar and shit or whatever pricey meals they like. It's these guys on the field getting broke up, getting their legs bent the wrong way, getting knocked upside the head, getting concussed, where they've stopped playing the game, they drooling. Some of the guys, it's terrible. Like, you watch some of the stuff that happened with some of these former guys that was playing in the NFL, the linebacker from a Junior Seau, what happened with him, the brother from the Bears, how the impact of the concussions affecting their minds, till they be all crazy and they basically spending or have to spend the millions they get just to live the rest of their lives normally as they can. Some of these guys will be walking funny the rest of their legs ain't, you know what I'm saying? This type of stuff, it's a dangerous game that we enjoy. But if those guys play the game, you got to compensate them because they're putting their brains and body on the line. It's their choice, mind you. But at the end of the day, that's why they want all this money. That's why guaranteed money is a big thing with players, because you can't guarantee that you're going to play 18 weeks in the NFL if some guy fires off the defensive line and you're a quarterback and you're trying to throw the ball and the guy hits you low and bends you down and busts you up and knocks you out for the season. What control you got on that? It's just too many uncontrollables. So you guaranteed money is necessary to some of these players. If you're a higher end draft pick or a guy that has something about him that's a very good player, you want more of that guaranteed money because obvious, right? Obvious reasons, right? So anyway, listen, fam, I'm going to get on up out of here. I appreciate y'all for being in the stream, man. Thank y'all for giving me y'all time. Y'all do me a service. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know how y'all feel about the new layout. This is the vertical vantage point. I know I never used this before, but this is something that I'm testing on some of the streams. Y'all let me know in the comment section or in the chat how y'all like the vertical view here. Because it's supposed to be designed good for your phone where you could be able to see it better on your device or on your handheld device. How y'all feel about it? Y'all let me know in the chat and the comment section, man. So anyway, okay, thank you, Desi. That's rather horizontal. I can see your content. But okay, thank you, Desi. Just trying a few things different. Okay, you're on the PC. Yeah, this works. It works on your phone more so than it does on that. But I'm gonna be using it periodically when I do streams during the week. Sometimes I'm gonna go back to the hard. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit just to get back. But anyway, listen, man. It's to be honest with you, Friday's here. We're gonna come back tonight. We'll have a show for you Saturday to preview Saints Chargers, and then the game on Sunday. It's a Saints weekend, man. No doubt about it, man. We back. All right. So anyway, yeah, I'm skipping out. That's right. Yeah, I'm skipping. That's right, Tasha. I'm skipping out. But I'm not really skipping out because I'm gonna be back later on today. Let's just say I'm taking an extended break. Okay, how about that? All right, I'm out of here, man. Listen, y'all do me a service. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share. Share is caring. Sharing is caring. Share the show on your social media feed. I'm gonna holler at y'all later tonight. Much love, and who that to you. Peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, brother like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Say they gon' beat them Saints. Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that?
That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and